How do you better luxury? Adding more exotic materials? Already done before. Give it a stunning design? Check. Inject it with a physics-defying pace and performance? Now we're talking. I'm Yash, you're watching the Cornea Impression, and in hindsight, I may have just summed up the 2024 Range Rover Sport SV, aka the fastest Range Rover ever. So about a year ago, Shivam took you through an exclusive walkaround of the standard Range Rover Sport. This is its top-end high-performance SV trim, which is basically a way of saying make your life more exciting without losing practicality. Now, the Sport SV may be just 10 millimeters lower to the ground than the standard Range Rover Sport, but apart from that, nothing is down to earth about this Sport SV. And just to give you some numbers, to get you a little bit hazy on the head, 0 to 100 in 3.8 seconds, top speed 290 kilometers per hour, power 626 horsepower, torque 750 Newton meters, engine displacement 4.4 liters. And surprisingly, that's the only thing that has been downsized, because the predecessor of this car came with a 5-liter supercharged V8, and yet this one gets 50 more horsepower from its 4.4-liter twin-turbo V8. Who said bigger is always better? It seems the engineers at Land Rover took a whole lot of pages out of the Make Yourself a Supercar guidebook, because a lot of those supercar philosophies can be found on this car. Usage of carbon fiber, the most used trick of that supercar guidebook, has been generously applied on the Sport SV, but with a whiff of Land Rover elegance, because this ain't your normal carbon fiber, but carbon fiber finished in matte satin. You get that on the grille surrounds, you get that on the lower bumper trim levels. Even the Range Rover lettering up here is finished in that same element, and so are these hood vents and these fender vents. You may have seen there is no SV badging up front. So how do you differentiate the Sport SV from the standard SV? Well, the bumpers get a larger air dam area on either sides. So it's basically to let in more air for better cooling on the brakes and the engine. And then you get an additional crease on the bonnet just to add to the muscular appeal of the Sport SV. And finally, the naked eye may not be able to see it, but this entire bonnet is made out of carbon fiber. And there's more to the car and more of carbon fiber. The side profile gets easily dominated by these 23-inch wheels made out of carbon fiber, a world first on any production car. The rubbers are supplied by Michelin. They are all-season tires developed exclusively for the Sport SV. The only thing that's as enormous as these wheels are the brake setup behind it, an 8-piston brake caliper setup developed in conjunction with Brembo. When put in combination, the tires and the brakes help save around 35 kilograms in weight savings. And then the side profile gets these pop-out door handles, which basically sit flush within the body when the car is locked and pop out when the car is unlocked. And then another important element is these 305 section tires, the widest ever fitted on a Range Rover. Now, because they were so wide, they were slightly protruding out of the car, and to help save that, Range Rover has basically applied a small trim element just to keep the tires within the body and, more importantly, legal. There's a black blade that runs across the underbody of the car and rounds up on the rear. You can find the carbon fiber from the front also mimicked on the rear Range Rover badging and on the tips of these quad exhausts. Also helps out not just in style but in thermal management. And then to help you distinguish this car from the standard Range Rover Sport is this, the SV badging finished in ceramic. Because this ain't your typical Range Rover Sport, this is the Range Rover Sport SV. Time to check out the interiors. I know you want to know about these glowing paddle shifters, but before that, let's address what's new in front of it, and that is the steering wheel. It's an all-new steering wheel than the typical Range Rover Sport. So you basically get more contouring on these handles so you can grip it better during spirited driving. And to engage that racy driving intentions, you don't have to go through a mishmash of options on the infotainment screen. There is a SV button right on the steering wheel. So just one tap on that and the car engages in its most dynamic setting, including lowering it further by 15 more millimeters. Control, Yash, control. And now on the subject of paddle shifters, these are also a world first and basically are illuminated translucent edges on the paddle shifters, which kind of makes this an exciting and dynamic aspect of this car and makes it more special. Want more illumination? You get SV badgings on the seats to let your co-passengers know you're driving something special. Materials throughout the Sport SV are top notch. You get seats made out of recycled fiber, you get a gear lever finished in ceramic, and you get carbon fiber inlays on the center console. Only because this is the edition 1 trim, so it's only reserved for the first year of production, and all of them have, by the way, been sold out. Another interesting aspect of this car is that it gets a 29 speaker sound system by Meridian, and more so, company calls these base seats or body and soul seats, which basically have speakers and transducers within them, so it makes you feel the music rather than just hear it. It even has a wellness mode, so it basically calms you down or pumps you up with its vibration, and you can configure that on this infotainment screen. The rest of the interior is typical Range Rover Sport. You get a 13-inch infotainment screen with sliders on either sides, no knobs on it, and Land Rover claims 80% of the tasks can be done through with just 2 taps on these screens. You get another screen up top, and that is the instrument cluster, and yeah, everything else feels special and plush and just super expensive, especially the seats. So with the Sport SV, Range Rover announces its arrival in the fast-growing, high-performance, super luxury SUV segment. With 626 horsepower on tap, a 4.4-litre twin-turbo V8 engine, and a whole lot of world firsts and Range Rover firsts, this definitely feels like an exciting proposition in that segment. Is this the ideal high-performance luxury SUV? We can only tell you that once we get our hands on it. And that may be sooner than expected, so stay tuned.